From Los Angeles, California, comes MC, actor, and producer A.F.R.O. Fresh off the release of his new project, Crimson Fury, A.F.R.O is a prolific force in hip-hop, known for his rapid-fire delivery and dynamic stage presence. He first caught the world's attention with a viral freestyle on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and he's also been on The Queen Latifah Show, The Breaks on VH1, and more. In addition to his new album, he's known for standout projects such as The Bad and the Ugly, produced by Stu Bangas, Afro Polo, produced by Marco Polo, and At the Sideshow with 60 East. And he's collaborated with hip-hop heavyweights such as Blue, John Connor, R.A. the Rugged Man, Four Eyes, and many more. Tune in to learn about his journey in music, his new project Crimson Fury, and what he's got coming next at 4 o'clock LA, 7 o'clock New York. Let's bring him in.
Right. Cristopolis.
Peace.
How you doing, my brother? Good to see you.
It's so good to see you, my bro. Yo, Crimson Fury.
Man,
Yes.
I'm really
Yes.
I'm really excited. I'm really happy I was able to drop that one. Yeah.
So, I'm listening to Crimson Fury and I'm like, I know how heavy you are into acting, into your love of cinema. So separate from your, what you've done as an actor, right? Being on TV and being on in different movies, your passion for acting, different things where you review movies and your whole love for cinema, which I share with you. And I start to listen to Crimson Fury and I can feel that whole
That's
movie vibe,
what's up.
right? Yeah, take us behind the scenes of this new project, Crimson Fury, which is now available to everybody on all digital streaming platforms, right? Talk to us about, the thought process behind what Crimson Fury is.
Yes. So it was exactly that. I hadn't made a project yet where it was cinema based or it was an idea that was pretty much a movie for the listeners. And that was the main basis that I wanted. I was like, okay, I want a theme, I want a storyline, I want a dope finale for it. And I was just balancing of what I wanted to do. I had the main idea down, but now I was just finding a theme. And eventually I was like, yo, I'm just gonna do some old school 70s action vengeance type of, that's what I'm gonna go for. And that's what I wanted to leave that imprint on with the project. So yeah.
And it totally translated. If for the movie buffs out there, for the lovers of culture, right? Not just hip hop culture, but culture. Are there any influences that you could point at that are like, like definitely in the vein of these types of films? Is what Crimson Fury is kind of influenced from?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the OG John Carpenter flick Assault on Precinct 13. One of my favorite more modern flicks, Brawl in Cell Block 99
Yeah.
with Vince Vaughn. That's why I call my joint 29, because my prisoner's 829 and I changed the cell blocks from 99 to 29. And that was also a big influence as far as the prison setup. And No Escape with Ray Liotta as well. Just that very frantic, tense feeling.
Yeah.
So
And you do the narration too, like you're narrating in the beginning, right? And kind of setting the scene. And then Crimson Fury is like blood, like hot blood, right? Like
yeah,
rage.
yeah, it's pretty much from when I came up with the title. I didn't even realize, because I had seen Star Wars before a couple times growing up, but I didn't even realize that one of the battle race ships were called Crimson Fury in one of the older joints.
Oh wow.
But I loved the name Crimson Fury. I was like, yo, I love that title. It's ringing to me for some reason. And then I came to find out that it meant to, like, you're seeing so much red that you're pushed at the brink of the edge, that you want to go Super Saiyan pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that movie with Vince Vaughn. It was, he's so funny that you don't realize how big he is.
Right, right,
Right? Right? And
right.
in that movie they really highlight
How
him
giant he is. Yeah,
obliterating people.
yeah, to such a grindhouse, uh, insane degree. I remember seeing it for the first time, and it left an impact on me. And yeah, I just really wanted to translate that kind of really grimy. And I wanted a love letter I wanted to make it strictly grimy boom bap for that side of my fan base as well, because there is a side of my supporters that love that really gutter, hardcore, hard drums and grimy samples type of feel. So that's what I really wanted to go for as well.
Yeah, and let's unpack that part of it a little bit. Let's talk about the production. Who did the production?
It was all over. It was I want to say I did two joints. My bro Stu Bangas did the last two on the project. My guy Indigenous did the song At All Costs. My guy Brutal Caesar did the Percy P joint Ricochet, and my guy Nemo he did the Gauntlet with my guy Motion Plus and Echo.
Yeah, the posse joint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That what was it like working with the legendary Percy P?
That was awesome. I got we were in the studio a couple years ago. I want to say about 3-4 years ago, and he had recorded that verse for me, and I just never knew what to do with it. I had it on my older computer. I had a lot of problems with the files, so I was just putting out these projects in the meantime, and eventually coming up with this project. I'm like, yo, I can hear this. I can hear the Percy P joint on that, and I need to get it out for those lyricist supporters that just love that lyrical stuff. You know, that frenzy, high level lyrical stuff, and that's what Percy P brings. So we always had that joint, but I always wanted for it to find its way home, and it did. I finally made it happen.
That's
And working
dope.
with Percy was awesome. He was just super cool, really down to earth, really chill, really easy to work with, and it was just a great experience. And I grew up listening to Percy, you know. So Perseverance's album with Madlib was huge in my middle school MP3 player. So just yeah, it was really a treat to work with him.
That's dope. And so you've had that in the tuck for this project. It finally got to come together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And and it was cool because this project was like a mix of like I made a lot of newer joints, but one or two joints I had in the bag as well that I just wasn't sure where to put them, and then I was able to connect the
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah, yeah. And then, talking about the production, you mentioned the joints produced by Stu Bangers, but you just had an album with him last year, right?
Yeah,
The Bad and the
yeah,
Ugly.
yeah,
What, were those beats that while you were making that album, you're like these could work on this future project, or was it something that that album's already been out and everything, but you just had that relationship with him and you reached out to him and were like, yo, I need some Stu Bangers.
yeah. That's exactly what it was. For this new one, Stu will send me packs and packs and packs of beats,
Crazy.
and hundreds of them are just fire, and it's very hard to pick through which ones land on a specific project I'm working on. So for the Crimson Fury, I reached out and said, yo, I need a new pack. I just need like two to just land on it, and he came through. As soon as I heard those two, I was like, that's it. I immediately knew.
That's
So
dope.
yeah, but
That's dope.
it's really neat working with Stu because the chemistry between us is really good because we both love that gutter, grimy undergrounds. You know, that's
Yeah,
our style.
yeah.
So
And he's a movie head also.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we get to bond on that as well. Great,
Yeah,
yeah, it's dope.
yeah. I've loved a lot of his. Well, the artwork on the project that you guys did together. But then he's had like the Death Wish and so
Right.
many of the really creative, really dope
Yeah,
individual.
his artwork is phenomenal. I love it every time. He has a sick mind when it comes to the how he lays down the layout of the artwork. Sick.
Yeah. Now, you people know you mostly as an incredible rapper, right? Like super lyrical, hit him with the chopper, right? But you're a producer too, and you produced on this album. Can you talk to us about, because that's an element of your creativity that you've been showing us more and more with different artists that you've been producing, right? I'll see like Afro, but then this Afro is a producer, right? And
Right.
and not just on the beats, but also really bringing artists in and sharing all of your knowledge and experience that you have that's unique, right? Like you're beyond your years, really, and all of the experience that you have, and going from LA to New York to all over the world and Europe, and all of the heavy hitters that you've worked with, been in the studio with. All of that experience has really taught you how to make a dope song. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
now you're sharing that with a lot of people, but now you're producing for yourself also.
Right.
Talk to us about Fro as a producer and then picking beats for yourself, like the joints that made it onto this album.
Yeah, it was quite it's been a quite a journey. I've been secretly making beats for nearly a decade now, almost 10 years. But I've been publicly been more comfortable sharing them with the public. I want to say about 4 or 3
Yeah.
years. And and it's really cool because it's a big it's learning a lot, going from a point A to point Z or point A to point B. You're learning little things and little tricks day by day. And that's why I always say I'm always learning every single, I'm always learning new aspects of the drum programming and the sample chopping. And it's a trip for me personally to hear my very first beat that I hated. When I
Wow.
made my first couple beats, I was like, I give up, I'm leaving it to the pros.
Right, and you're
I'm
working with cats like Stu Bangers and Marco
right.
Polo, and
Throwing it
like
out.
genius
They got,
level.
I was like, they got it. But then, honestly, working with my personal goat, working with Primo, that that's just an insane experience as it is. Seeing him go to work and chopping the sample and putting the drums down, it was like the beat bug bit me.
Wow.
That's what I like to say. Yo, I'm seeing the master go to work. It was almost contagious. It was infectious. I'm like, yo, I want to try it at least. Just want to go back to it and see what I can do. And I didn't stop since. I didn't stop. I would just keep making them every other day, every other week, even still to this day. Even if one week I'm not feeling as great, I'm like, I got to make at least one beat, at least. Just try to just knock them out. And when it comes to picking them for my projects, it's I'm sending beats out like I'm always sending beats to my homies or other MCs I'm working with all around the globe, and whichever ones don't make it or whichever ones don't get picked, I put them in a folder, and then I just go through the list. And sometimes there's ones I really like where I'm like, okay, if you won't take it, then I'll take it.
Yeah,
And sometimes that happens a lot with my when I pick for my projects.
that's really dope. What are you producing on now?
Now I use two things. I use a Kai MPC, and on my computer interface I use Machine. So I alternate between the beat pads on my Akai, and I also use the mouse on my computer. So I just switch between the
Got
two.
it. So in regards to the production, you're doing the drums on the MPC?
Yeah, I can do the drums and the sample as well, but I can also make format the drums on the mouse as well.
Oh, interesting. That's really dope how cause that's like trial and error, right? You've like done different things until you found what works for you.
Yeah, and it's also I've always made beats by ear. I'm not great when it comes to music theory.
Yeah,
Which encourage, if anybody wants to go into music theory, don't stop. Definitely if it's for you.
yeah,
But just for my own complicated brain, I've always went by ear. And I learned the patterns and the formats and how things are placed, and like how I'm able to put like a double kicks instead of like just quantizing and everything, and make it having a bit of a flavor, making a little bit offbeat. Just there's so many things you can do with it. Yeah.
yeah. And then in regards, and whatever you're willing to share, because there's rules to this, you know what I'm saying, which I'm very much aware of. But in regards to like the sounds, are you digging for sounds, old school, right? Or are you kind of working more with a lot of these royalty free sample packs and things like that?
I do both. I a lot of sometimes I'll go digging in certain stores, and I'll look like in the clearance bin, or I'll look for some things that I feel like might not have been
Yeah,
made. So I'll try to look for some of those. But I also do have packs as well, or drum kits or drum packs that find my way, or some of my producer homies have some really dope ones. I'm like, yo, shoot me one, and so I'm pretty open, but I also like to dig as well, not to lose that essence, not to lose that original, like that OG original essence of the producing.
yeah, yeah. You've got like really dope sounds. There's I'm not sure who produced it, but the Cell Block, the actual song, this the Cell Block 829. Who
I,
produced that joint?
I did that one.
That joint's
Thank you,
dope.
bro. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
That one, and that one, I was gonna have that beat for another project that I'm working on in the future. It was gonna be a posse joint, but I was rethinking, and I'm like, dang, I hear this feels like like trapped, like a prison, trying to escape from prison kind of beat. It kind of hit me last minute, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna take that one. That one's for me.
Yeah.
That was one I was actually really last minute for the project.
Wow. Wow. I feel that it has a very special sound to it, and compared to like the rest of the tracks, it has like a the sample's just dope and very kind of
Thank
like, like a bit of an exotica vibe, you know?
Yeah, it was like what it just gave me a very like almost like kind of like a grimy superhero kind of feeling in a way, like Incredible Hulk if he was on some grimy type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the feeling it gave me while I was chopping it.
That's dope. And to continue unpacking Crimson Fury, let's talk about the artwork and the actual putting together of the project itself, your release strategy. You're an OG at this point, right? You released it first on Bandcamp, then you wrote it out. All of those things that people who look up to you, who learn from you, can kind of take those pointers on how you did the rollout, the artwork, and the whole putting together of the project.
Right, right, right. Yeah, with that, I'm also as much as uh doing it for a couple years, but I'm also still learning at the same time. Humbly, I still feel like sometimes I feel like I'm a rookie at certain things when it comes to like I'm learning with the fans as well in certain degrees. And but one thing that I've learned through the years from other MCs that I look up to as well was their
Yeah.
rollouts, how they would put a single or how they would put out maybe a video and then roll out the artwork and the track list, then drop it like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
But as much as there's rules to this, I would say there are no rules to it at the same time.
Mhm.
Like nowadays, like you can roll out however you want
Yeah.
to. I I personally wasn't able to really drop the videos I wanted to for this project. I wanted it to make it like a dope, big, short
Yeah.
movie. But for the amount of time and the budget I didn't really have for that, I couldn't make it happen. But there's when it comes to projects, you can roll it out as it's up to your creativity or how you want to do it. Like, and certain project, not every single project, in my opinion, should have the same rollout. I feel like it makes it more
Right.
special as a certain type of rollout.
Yeah.
Or if but with this one, I just wanted to make sure the artwork was out, the track list was out, release date, pretty much the basics. I dropped a little. I was gonna put a song on the project called Mic Check. I did a
Mhm.
little video single drop a couple months ago, but since a couple months had passed, I'm like, no, I'll just make that a little cool single drop just for the supporters and make the new project. But Mic Check, so I was gonna have a video leading up to it, but eventually I was like, let me just focus on the new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The artwork. Who did the artwork?
My guy Amir, he goes under Scum Doodles Inc. And you can find him on Instagram here. He's dope. He did he worked on artwork for a feature I did a couple years ago. It was called like Zombie Party or something like that. And his artwork was dope too. So I reached out to him, and he's a cinema movie guy too. He's a head. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, let's just connect. He was gonna work on like some Dawn of the Dead type of thing for me a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and then while I was kept working on some new stuff, I hit him back for this one, and I'm like, yo, I think we both love action movies as well. I think we could connect on this one, and I thought he came through. I loved
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
his homie Ryan Exists did the font, and it's pretty much the font from Assault on Precinct 13, the original film. It's really
Yeah.
similar.
Because they
So
remade that joint too, right?
yeah, they remade it with Ethan Hawke and Lawrence Fishburne in the mid
Yeah.
2000s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those. I got so many movies that I haven't watched, and now you could get them so inexpensively. And I'm still a physical media
Yeah.
person, right? I don't trust. I'm like, one, I don't want to pay for it, right? And two, like I just don't. I feel things can get pulled whenever, and I don't. I need to have my stuff.
Sure, when you go on like Netflix, it's like this movie is last streaming in 5 days. You're like, dang, and you barely get to it. So
Yeah.
there, I do collect. I do both, but I collect as well. I've been collecting since I was a kid. I got certain DVD cases here that I've had since I was about 6 years old. You know, so,
Wow.
so I still collect. I got vinyl, cassette, DVD, Blu-ray, VHS, PS4, Xbox, Xbox 360, PS5, books as well. Got a good collection of books, and just through the years.
Yeah, yeah, that's really dope. That's dope. There's a track on there where you brought in some homies like the Posse Cut, and you've been working with a lot of artists.
Yeah,
You've been staying active, as a producer. I think as a mentor, as for lack of a better word, production. Just producing overall. Talk to us about some of the people that you're working with and your role more as like a producer and artist that you're collaborating
yeah.
with.
I got a lot of them are like my really close people. I consider I have like a close circle of Fro family that I hold near and dear, and they're extremely talented. And I feel like they just really needed like a leg up, or they just needed a hand, or just a nice little spotlight on them to showcase their talent and showcase what they can bring. And they're just really good people as well. But I got my guy Motion Plus. He's
Yeah.
really he's just one of my favorite MCs to work with. Very down to earth, really great guy, but also just nasty with the pen. He can spit. He's a lyricist. He's an MC. Very experienced. Very polished. And I produced a full album for him called Focus earlier this year. That one's on all platforms too, but that one I'm really proud of. That one's one of my favorite projects so far that I got to be involved with. And my guy Motion, we got a new track we just did, OCML, that just dropped a couple days ago. And we're also working on a collab project as well that we're gonna kind of produce together. He secretly produces too, and
Oh,
he's nasty with that too. So I'm gonna produce him. He's gonna produce him. I'll probably hit up Stu Bangas as well. I'll hit up a couple of my guys and just make a nice gumbo pot. But yeah, and then I got a dope artist, Elena Karis. She does all types of different genres. She does dubstep, hip hop, R&B, you name it. Very talented in all aspects. And I'm producing a project for her as well, and I'm excited for that one. That one's going to be a nice fusion, like hip hop, R&B, nice some singing, some nice mellow joints. We also have some grimy joints too. She loves some really dope underground boom bap as well. So that one I'm excited for. And I got my guy MZ1. We got his album I produced called Razor Blades recently.
yeah.
Part two. We're working on part two. I think it's gonna have a lot of a lot of like really knife imagery or that kind of theme going on, like Navajas. And that one's just gonna be some gutter boom bap
It's
too for the fan.
gotta be.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? With
yeah,
the yeah.
yeah. So, and then my brother Post Reaction, I've known for almost 12 years. My
Wow.
brother Post, I just got him. One of his first big debuts was on the Percy P joint on Crimson
Yeah.
Fury. That's one of his first debuts, and I'm producing a full project for him called Maximum Toxin. And then we've been working on an album, a joint album, even before I got discovered, and he's one of my day ones. So we're finally going to put that to bed, that album, and have it released sometime, probably soon in the next year or two. And
Wow.
I'm excited. A lot of projects that I've been working on for a long time are starting to come out, and I feel really happy about it. I just
Yeah,
feel
people would think that it's all like happening like this summer or something, but nah, these
right.
have been marinating.
Yeah, a lot of the projects I've been working on easy. I take at least a couple years plus to work on each piece.
Wow. Wow. The you're well known for your lyrical abilities, the chopper raps, the boom bap. For people who know you from that, what other areas of hip hop, urban music in general, are you experimenting in?
Honest, my main forefront, I would say, is the classic 80s, 90s, Gangstar, Pete Rock, Primo. That's my heart. That's
Yeah,
my favorite thing I love to make in the world. But I also like to do some different stuff too. I like making some my main rule that I have for myself, as long as the drums are still hard or they have a boom bap feel or they're in that vein, that's
yeah,
the rule I have. the sample can be any kind of feel. That can be electro, that can be R&B, that can be uh, it can be different languages. It can be German, it can be Chinese, it can be all different types of stuff that I'm sampling. Just as long as those drums kind of have that vein, that boom bap feel,
Yeah, you could ride it.
and you can still transform that song, even if it has the drums like that. It still has a nice, different kind of feel where it's a nice mesh where you're like, oh, it's a different. Oh, he's experimenting. Okay, this is something I wouldn't expect him to flip.
Yeah,
And it's a challenge. It's a nice challenge too, being able to. Can I flip the sample anyway? Can I even do this?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask is because, especially with somebody with your skill set, I can see where producers and the public will want to hear you on, like house is becoming like popular again,
Right.
like very big, right? And
Right.
all sorts
Right.
of like more up tempo, more like party records. They want to hear a chopper, right? They want to hear somebody come in there and like that fast flow mixed in with the DJ. And so I can see like a lot of requests,
Oh
and then
yeah.
that's massive in Europe. It's massive in New York. It's
Absolutely.
big in LA too.
Absolutely. Every time I would go to the UK, whenever we would have a show out there, they would have some drum and bass going on.
Yeah,
I've even rocked over drum and bass one time at a concert a couple years ago while I was in the UK. I can't remember what year it was, but it was a lot of fun. So I have been able to rock over something like that, and I think it's dope. I think
yeah,
it's dope, and it showcases how versatile an artist can be as well. They're
yeah,
like, I can rock on this. I can rock on this that you guys love, but yo, check this out too. You watch how I can flip some different stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I just it reminded me of Slick Rick doing the house tracks recently,
yeah,
and I'm hearing mixed reception, but from what I heard, I really loved it. I was like, yo,
yeah,
I loved hearing Slick's voice and how he was bouncing on the beat, and I thought that was dope.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I would like to try some. You'll definitely hear some fro over some kind of drum and bass or some house, or you'll hear me over some
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I mean, I feel like you got what you do, right? But if something's popping and it somehow isn't going against your music principles, you know what I'm saying? Because this,
Right.
hip hop in a lot of ways is like a religion. It's like kind of like there's like some sort of guiding value system that we have, I guess, intrinsically. But as long as it's not trampling on that at all, and you're having fun with the skill set, and
Yeah.
it's popping, it'll get you spins and it'll expand your fan base. You know, why not?
And another thing too is one thing I like to consider myself. I like to try different things, but still keep at the same heart of Fro, and that means that I can try. If you ever hear me on a radio joint, you'll know that I didn't dumb it down. My
Yeah,
verse is still gonna be Fro caliber. My verse is I'm still gonna put time in the pen. I'm
yeah,
still make sure that my supporters will be like, yo, even if I didn't love the joint that he's on, I still hear like his pen. He's still working. Like he's not being lazy with the writing, which I can at least that. And I'm fully aware while I'm discovering these points of the career that I want to take, what kind of music I want to make down the line. I know that it's still going to be I still gonna be me at the end of the day. Even if you can hear me over a country song, but Fro killed that country song. Damn, he killed that shit.
right.
That
Which
that's the reality.
that's becoming
Yeah,
popular, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. Just
go figure.
as long as it's dope. I think that's my rule. As long as it's dope, that's always been my ear. I listen to all kinds of genres. If it's dope, it's dope. That's
Yeah,
how I've always felt. That can be any kind of genre. I might not love the genre as
yeah,
a whole,
yeah.
but that song was dope. Damn, that makes me want to check out other stuff in there. What else is dope? That's how I've always kept myself open, even when I was a kid, when it came to just musical taste and in general.
That's dope. That's dope. This project, I want to make sure that people know about it. Crimson Fury, available on all digital streaming platforms. The latest release by Afro. But we're in an era where artists are normally doing multiple releases in a year. You yourself, right, are continually releasing. You had many releases last year. Um, uh, Afrodeezeak 2, the Bad and the Ugly, the What do you have simmering? What do you have coming in 2025 that you can share?
A lot of sequels. Bad and the Ugly Part 2. I think me and Stu confirmed for Halloween, so that will be coming out
Wow.
Part 2. I'm really excited. My goal was to Godfather Part 2 this project. Was as much as I enjoyed working on the first one, I wanted to make the second one bigger and badder.
Yeah.
So that's going for it. And I'm really excited for the second one. Even some of the features I got on there too. And me and my brother 60 East, we're working on our project At the Sideshow Part 2. That's going to be coming out really soon. It's in the process of mixing, so that should be out pretty much any time real soon. And I'm also working on Afrodeezeak Part 3. That's going to be coming out. I'm not sure, maybe this year, but definitely either between end of this year and sometime next. So that's almost done. I'm almost mixing and mastering that one. And then final project that I have in the can right now, solo. Well, it's not really solo, but it's one that I'm completely producing. And it's a compilation album, which will be my first compilation album, where think of like Ludacris presents Disturbing the Peace,
Yeah.
where he had all those MCs on that same album and it was like a showcase of the MCs. That's what I'm going to do with this album, but I'm completely handling the production. It's going to be a pretty big one, but that one has been in the making for a very long time. And that one's going to come out sometime next year. And that one I'm super excited for. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack there. Okay, so on that last piece, the collaboration album, you've had these songs where you've had, I don't know what the exact number of MCs is, but a lot of MCs, like
Yeah.
a lot of like Guinness Book of World Record, kind of getting close to level MCs on a track. Talk to us about that project, and is that related to this collaboration project you're talking about?
Well, that was a separate franchise that I was going for. I was gonna. It's still kind of in the works, but that one's gonna be spaced out more through the years. Where I call that one Afro Posse Cut Got Next, and I have three parts of those. Where the first one was about 35 MCs, the second one was about 55, and the third one was 80. So I was, and that's the most I'm ever going to go. If I ever continue to do these posse cut joints, I'm just going to keep them at about 10, 15, 20 the most. I'm not going to go up to 80 ever again. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And that was just, and I just wanted to do that for the first three parts where I'm like, okay, just like make it a little bit. I have a rule with sequels where I'm just trying to make them as big as possible.
Yeah.
Make it bigger, make it better than the other one before that. That's my personal rule. And I also like sequels as well. There are a couple really good ones, so that's how I tackle my projects. And but as far as the posse joints, they have no connection with what this album, what I call Trapdoor. This Trapdoor LP doesn't. It's just a lot of my close homies that are really talented. It's also a lot of dope MCs like John Connor, Blue. I got Micah Nine. I got a couple really dope OGs on there, mixed in with some really talented lyricists as well. And that one, and it's really neat. I'm able to blend childhood day ones with MCs that I also really highly look up to and high regard as well. So it's a really
Yeah,
nice
that's cool.
gumbo,
Like the
personal.
Fro family mixed in with
Yeah.
like legends in hip
It's
hop.
like a Afro family tree as an album.
That's dope. Right. Influences and immediate artists that are like, you came up with.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's crazy dope. Yeah, the Got Next 80 MC. Is that a record?
No, because
K
rest
Slay?
yeah, rest in peace, K Slay. K Slay, I think the highest that they did, I want to say, is 200. I think that I wanted. Let me double check that real quick. Just want to make sure
I'm curious too,
because
yeah.
I know I didn't set the record, and I knew that while I was making it. But
Sure, right, right. That wasn't the intention. But
rolling 200 D, K Slay did 200. Yeah, it was an hour long. I remember kind of watching it and being like, "Darn, this is long." So, and that's coming from the guy who made 80. So, yeah, but
wow.
200, from what I understand, 200 is the record.
80 is impressive. You know, you got 35 is impressive, 55 or 30 is impressive, 55 is impressive, 80's bananas, 80's part one and part two put together,
Yeah,
right? Could you, you know, you know, rest in peace, K Slay. He's no longer with us,
rest in peace.
and but you're with us. Can you talk to us about, you know, what that project was like? Putting it together, how you would, you know,
Woo!
how you kind of piece, how you figured out where to put different artists, because you're kind of like, you know, you're not getting them and just inserting them, right? You're trying to figure out who goes,
Oh yeah,
right?
placement. The placement is super important. It's just like pacing a film. It's just like being a filmmaker, being a director, and editing the film, and just making sure that it all blends together well and has a nice flow. Because if you put the wrong person in the wrong position, a good amount of times for that long of a song, you can definitely lose interest. So
Yeah,
and that's a tough art of it itself, like just
yeah,
placement of verses. And with that one, it took a year straight. Part three to the 80 MC was a straight year. It was just contacting the MCs, a lot of communication. So a lot of MCs were European, so they were about 8 or 9 hours ahead, and also meeting the deadlines, getting the videos in. It's definitely a lot of work. And also, I mixed and mastered it myself. So I'm placing the vocals on the grid, mixing it to the best I can, and also mastering, and then putting it into the video, editing the video, and putting the placement of the video of the ADMCs as well. So just all that one man team did. But I also had a little bit of help. Also had a little bit of help from uh, at Elena Karras. Elena shot my part of my video in part three, and also some of the MCs were able to shoot their parts as well. So that was really refreshing. They're like, yo, some of the some MCs were easier to work with than others. Some
yeah,
were like, you on the fly, boom, it's yours. I'm like, oh, thank you. But other ones are like, yo, give me until 5 months, give me until Christmas, give me until Halloween, and it's February. I'm like, all right, I'll wait. We'll see, And some of them were able to make it work. I was like, cool. I'm happy I waited. But other ones, I was a little bit saddened by. Where they're like, yo, I got you, and they're like, I can't do it. But it happens. Like
yeah,
life gets in
absolutely.
the way, so it's understandable.
Yeah, yeah. No, you know, you shoot, you try to hit the grand slam and you might get a home run. You
Yeah,
know.
and the I asked over 500 MCs just to see who would say yes. I asked so many. I spent hours and days of hitting my Instagrams, hitting my X, hitting my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, all of that, and just being like, yo, who's down to rock? Who's down for 8 bars? Can you spare? Can you rock 8 bars on this? And the ones who said yes said yes. So yeah, and I'm really
Part of
happy.
history.
I'm really happy how it came together.
That's
Yeah.
so dope, man. What a an amazing project that you put together, and the the concept, everything that you did. Um, it's producing, it's a little bit kind of reminiscent of DJing, and I think that that's a good segue because you've also been adding scratches and kind of
Yeah.
using, you know, doing that whole part of hip hop, the art of hip hop. um you've been scratching on production, and talk to us about that, unpack that part of it for us. Maybe what you're using,
Yeah.
the love for it, the practice, who inspires you, all of that.
Yeah. I've been using Techniques S1200s for, I want to say, about 9 or 8 years. Secretly, I would throw some scratches here and there, but I started getting more comfortable with them in the past 5 or so years. And I've always kept the same techniques. I just recently got a new pair, but the same exact brand. And I use a Newmark mixer for the fades and the crossfader and all. And honestly, Primo, like hearing Primo since I was a kid, I still think his scratches are the most magical. The way he
Yeah.
lands them on a beat, it gives you the instant nasty screw face or the head nod. It makes you go, oh, like it's just an instant screw face. And that's what I kind of want to make as my own when I'm throwing the scratches down. He's the master. He's the blueprint. I'm just trying to follow, just trying to follow behind in my own way.
Yeah.
I laying down,
Yeah.
yeah, and DJ Scratch, Grandmaster Flash, Jam Master Jay. You know, those Rock Rada, DJ Qbert, no, those are titans. Those guys are the
Yeah.
blueprints. You know.
I always think about like how like even big producers like Kanye West go and get Premiere for their
Yeah,
scratches.
right, right. And honestly, that's how I honestly feel like bigger guys like, and I do love that Kanye will get a preem, but I also at the flip side, I would like to see him utilize maybe like a P or a preem more, and even a guy like a M, even an Eminem. Like I
Yeah.
haven't heard M rhyme over a primo beat
Yeah.
or anything like that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what a lot of there's a certain side of hip hop fans that would adore that. They're like, yo,
Yeah.
we need that. It's almost like smack, yo, we need that. But it's so that's one of my big complaints with certain bigger artists where I'm like, yo, if you have the bread, if you have the budget,
Yeah.
and it's accessible, and they're hitting you up and saying, yo, I'm ready to work, it's a no-brainer for me. If I was
Yeah.
you, I'm like, yo, Preem, we're in the studio tomorrow. Yo, Madlib, we're in the studio tomorrow. I'm like, no problem. I'll literally stop what I gotta do. I'll go over there right now, you know. But I understand other people have their own processes and even how they want their projects to be as well. They have a certain sound or a soundscape or a certain theme that they're going for. So I can understand that side, but just speaking as a fan first, I'm always a fan first,
Yeah.
you know. And if Preem or those any of my legends hit me up, they're like, "Yo, I got a beat for you right now. I'm going. I got you. Let's go." That's
Well, and you know, Premiere and you know these legends, whether they're MCs or producers, they're active
yeah,
and they got
they're still working.
bills.
Yeah,
They're active and they got bills. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like you got to
yeah.
give
They're
back.
they're still killing it. They're still dropping heat. They still have it. Pete Rock is still killing it. Primo's still killing it. You know, Malib's still. Everybody's still killing it. They're still doing their
Yeah.
thing. They're still active.
Yeah, yeah, that's really dope. The another, you know, kind of going back where you shared with us upcoming projects, Afrodeezeak 3, The Bad and the Ugly 2, and At the Sideshow. Talk to us about At the Sideshow because that's a really cool duo that you and 60 East created. Went on tour, have been on multiple
Yeah.
tours. Talk to us about the whole At the Sideshow.
Yeah, that was just it was purely a homie project that came together. We would you know, we just the Beavis and Butthead theme was really cool. It was really goofy but in the coolest way. That we were on the same page with that. And then we would think of the episodes of what the title of the project, and from what I remember, At the Sideshow was one of the titles of the episodes from what I remember, and we just went with that. But us working together was very easy going because us being on the road, we have the same mindset of, yo, let's show up, let's do the show, you know, let's brainstorm some music, and just be hip hop homies, you know. And that essence is really cool. It's a really great feeling. He's very easy to work with as well. And that's the even reason why I said yes to it too. Because I was like, yo, I think we can make it bigger than the first. And I think we can make it a little stronger and also we can also tour more off of it too, you know. Show the project to more new people around the globe as much as we can.
Yeah,
So have that really cool pairing where and I send him beats, or sometimes he'll come over to the crib. I'll play beats for him, and or I'll tailor make a beat for him once in a while, and it's just really dope. It's great, really easy to work with.
did you produce At the Sideshow?
Yeah, I produced the first one completely, and this new part two is going to be a mix of producers. I'm producing a good amount of tracks, but we also have a couple other guys joining as well. And Stu also has a joint on there. We got a Stu Bangas track coming
I
for
mean,
part two.
how could you say no to Stu Banger's production?
I'm trying to make like a dope multiverse, like an Afro multiverse, where like I can go and connect everybody as much as I can. Just have dope people working with dope people, you know.
Yeah, that's really dope.
Yeah, and yeah, and originally we were brainstorming. At first, I was going to completely produce part two, but then we started thinking. I started thinking of all the other dope producers that are out there. I also like to give them a shot as well as much as I can. Whereas that's what I did with some of the producers with Crimson Fury as well. I like opening up some of the track lists where I'm like, yo, you got a spot? You want a spot? Cool. This beat is dope for me. All right, then it landed. And to me, I don't really look for like the biggest name when it comes to making a song. I'm looking for somebody who's just super dope.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt came to the when we were thinking about the producers for the project. We're like, yo, we need let's just get some dope beats. Whoever it's from. Whoever it's from is dope is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the what was, for the people who couldn't go see an At the Sideshow live performance? I know that you guys did a lot of stuff in Florida, right? I was like, what? I'm like
Yeah.
keeping track online, and you did like other. You guys were on tour. What is that like? Is that like because you could go rock a 1 hour, an hour and a half show just fro. You know what I'm saying? So what was the show like? Was it like some Fro, some 60 East, because he's got dope projects too, right?
Right, right.
And then the project together. How did you guys present at the sideshow to the public?
We would do about 20 minutes of 60 on stage. Then I would come out and do, then we would have a middle segue where we do like maybe 4 or 5 tracks together in the middle. Then we pass it off for my 20 minutes on stage.
Yeah,
So we have a nice little transition between us two. And then in the middle, we do some we do some collab joints.
yeah,
So supporters who showed up to see 60 can hear 60. Supporters who showed up to see me can see me, and supporters who show up to see both of us, everybody gets a piece of the pie in that regard.
yeah. That's dope. That's really, really dope. I wanted to jump in, my passion, one of my passions is cinema. And your IMDb goes crazy. And you do like a really good job of like um you know like uh hip hop artists pay attention to Spotify and having, their websites and having things organized. But when it comes to video work and things like that, they might put it on YouTube, but they're not capturing it in a place that captures metrics and writing, directing, and you've done because you're passionate about it, and you've been on sets, you're in SoCal, right? So like this is real life, something that you're pursuing actively. Your IMDb goes crazy. It's on point, right? It's got like all the different things you're working on. Talk to us about that, right? Like
Yeah.
your IMDb, but also like your plans and where you'd like to go as a writer, director,
Oh,
actor.
oh, absolutely. I've been. It's just really nerdy of me. I've been going on IMDb since I was 9 years old. I'm 27 right now, so I've been going on almost my whole life. And even in school, whenever we would have privileges, like in computer class, I would be on that IMDb seeing what new movies are coming out. Oh, Denzel just got casted in this new film. I was always, I was always on point when it came to stuff like that. So and then when I turned about 14 or 15, I knew how to add stuff on IMDb, add pages, attach this cast member to this, attach this production designer to this, or this special effect department artist. Like I was able to just go through the categories and just being just a movie head also. And also being able to add, I keep myself updated when it comes to my music videos or when it comes to short films or even stuff that I'm attached to, like, I'm also going to be composing down the line in the future for certain films, as far as like film composing, and just like making sure all my credits are in order. And that was just something that was really nerdy thing of me since I was a boy. And I still keep on top of it. It's my personal favorite movie site website of all time.
Yeah, I like the way Letterbox looks, but
Yeah.
they don't got the information, they don't got the data.
Yeah, and I like Letterbox too, but that IMDb, to me, you got everything. You got the cast, you got the crew, you got the trivia, you got the goofs, you got the mistakes, you got the filming locations, you got why it's rated R by the MPAA, you got the all that data is in there. It's amazing, and that's what was so infectious to me growing up. I'm like, I could find out who wrote this, I could find out who edited this, I could find out who did the music for this, and I would just always eat it up every time.
That's dope. That's dope. In that area, that world, we talked about different projects you got coming out, in 2025. Do you have anything in regards to video work or short films or anything like that that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I definitely want to go into more filmmaking in the next couple years. I have a bunch of scripts written, and I have one or two that are pretty much near completion and ready to go into production. It's just also gathering an investor or a budget or the right distributor or the right film company, maybe the right studio that'll give me final cut, that'll give me creative control,
Yeah.
studio that can meet me halfway. But as long as I land all those, then I really want to go into directing and writing. I want to be like a hip hop, not even a hip hop, but like an MC turned Spike Lee,
Yeah.
like or an turned Tarantino, MC turned Scorsese, because I really love the filmmakers who write and direct.
Yeah.
It's like their baby. That film is their child,
Yeah.
and it's really shown when you watch their films. So it's infectious. I love it. I love it. That's what I really want to do. And I've always wanted to be involved in film since I was a kid. Also, I always wanted to act, but when I started being in middle school and started writing, I started writing little mini scripts, and I'm like, wow, I can create scenes. I can create characters. I can create people in my head, like, and I can make them be crazy. I can make them be funny, sad, and that's what really reeled me in as well. I'm like, wow, there's just a whole it's almost limitless of what you can do
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
You create a
Yeah,
universe.
so you can literally create a whole, if you wanted to, a whole multiverse. They got people writing these comic book superhero movies now where tons of these superheroes are popping out of the same portal. It's like there's so
They
much.
get a little bit too crazy
There's
with it.
so much. Yeah, there's so much, and that's why I'm really giddy about it, because it's something I've always wanted to execute, and I know I could do it, and it's gonna happen. So I'm excited when the first A.F.R.O like feature film comes, and the red carpet premiere and all that. You
Yeah,
know?
at the Chinese theater.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be sick.
That would be so
That's
dope.
not even that far from me, so that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Do you have like a genre or genres that are kind of like, like the boom bap, you're known for that 80s,
Yeah,
90s hip hop. Is there a cinema version of that for you?
I would say two battle for me. It would be horror and action, because I love me a great action flick, good gritty action flick, but I also love me a dope horror flick as well. So I would say those two genres battle for my number one spot.
I feel that um I love those genres also, and I feel that horror is a great it's a great genre that can be pulled off without a crazy budget,
True,
right?
true.
It
Yeah,
can, because if you have the right actors, you just need to, that's why so many horror movies are done in like a remote location, you know?
right. That's right. That's right. It was either literally they made maybe a homie gave them like a cabin for a couple days. They're like, yo, I got my cabin. I'll let you shoot for 2-3 days. Word. All right, let me see what I can do in three
Yeah,
days. You know,
yeah,
it's a dope challenge, and some of the best films like Evil Dead or some of the classics were filmed on low budgets, and
yeah,
they utilized their creativity, they utilized what they had, or like the right team. They had a nice little solid team with them that were on the same page, you know,
yeah,
and that's what matters. I feel like the best movie don't need $100 million budget. It don't even need 50, 40, 30 million.
yeah,
You get the right actors, you get the right people who care about the film, who are like, yo, this is going to be dope. Let's make it dope. Let's have a nice collection of people. Make it for like, it sounds like a lot. Make it for like 500,000. Make it for $1 million, which sounds like a lot, but for these Hollywood executives and all these
yeah,
dudes, that's pennies to them.
yeah.
They're expecting you to ask for 10 million. You hit them with that, yo, just give me one. They're like, what? Yeah, just give me $1 million. Give me $1 million. I'll make it
It's
dope.
worth the gamble.
Super dope movie. If you make it dope and it pops off and it's successful and it does well at the box office, you have a Blair Witch Project case where they made
Yeah,
a movie with pennies, and that movie turned out to be one of the most successful films of all time.
yeah.
Yeah. So all you really need is just a
It
dope
became a
crew.
franchise.
Yep,
There's like three of them.
exactly. They got a brand new game that just came out a few years ago on PlayStation. Like, so I'm sure a lot of these. Another filmmaker I love is Robert Rodriguez,
Yeah.
in the genre, because when he started off with El Mariachi, I believe he only made it with $7,000,
Yeah, he did
which
it like 7 Gs, and he borrowed the homie's bus and
and it
and
looked fantastic for that. I'm like, wow, this movie kicks ass for 7,000. Like, that's crazy. So that always inspired me as a kid as well when it came to low
yeah.
budgets.
And there's some parallels between um how dope of an MC and producer you are, and then having this passion for cinema because he's passionate about music also and does soundtracks for his own movies,
Right,
has a band,
right.
right? So he's not just editing and directing. In his mind, his creativity, he's
Yeah,
scoring. So I can see
right.
you doing that also.
Yeah, and honestly, Rodriguez is a huge influence and inspiration when it comes to me in film
Yeah.
overall. I give a lot of flowers to Rodriguez because of that, because he takes it so seriously, because he knows that that's his film. He doesn't want the studio to butcher it. He wants to make it as close to home as possible. And
Yeah.
that's what I really love. I love those filmmakers and artists who are, you can feel that like kind of family feel to it. Even if it's a grimy action flick, it feels like they had a bunch of fun making the movie, and it has that family, but that tie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope.
yeah.
You shared with us, how you're making beats, how you're what software you're using for beats. You share with us scratching hardware and things. And on the film side, on the music video and the kind of editing, what are you using on that end in regards to cameras and software, and how are you going about it on that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who look at you and they want to learn. They'll watch a clip of this later and they're like, how's Fro doing it?
Honestly, I'm still at the stage where I'm learning a bit, but from what I've been shooting from now for the past couple years, I've just been utilizing the
Yeah,
iPhone. Just been using my phone. I edit on on Final Cut
yeah,
Pro. Recently, I've been editing on CapCut for the past couple of months, and I've been
yeah,
filming been a bit easier. I have CapCut on the desktop, and it has
yeah,
a similar feeling to the Final Cut Pro I've been editing, but there's a bit more effects that I can
yeah,
use, and more. And so I've been on the CapCut for a good minute now, on the computer, and but I really use the iPhone about 90% of the time,
yeah,
and it's really just it's really angles, it's really it's the editing, but it's also where you're placing the camera and to make it look dramatic, how to make it look as cinematic as possible.
yeah,
And I'm learning so much that only recently, a couple months ago, I found out that the iPhone has a 4K feature and has a 24 frames per second feature. I'm like, yo, I can literally shoot a movie on this thing. And then come to find out 28 years later, just shot it on an iPhone Max. And you have other films like Tangerine that were shot on an iPhone that got nominations at festivals. So you're like, wow, this can actually work, this iPhone. So that's what I've been really been using for the past couple years. And I do intend for the future films to get like a Canon, or to get a more official, not as expensive as a Red, because I don't have a bunch of money to throw into the production where I can pay for 50 grand or anything, but you get it something that you can meet in the middle that's dope, that will not only get the job done, but something that you will like as well. You
yeah,
don't, that's how I feel with the beat production too. When producers hit me up and they're like, what should I get? I'm like, yo, don't get the most expensive stuff in the world. You don't need to.
yeah,
Get something either in the middle. Like, don't get the cheapest stuff, but don't get the most expensive stuff either. Find something in the middle that's going to get the job done, that you're going to get comfortable with, and you'll have fun with. You don't have to throw every single bit of your penny away for this beat machine that costs like 25 grand. You don't need to
yeah,
do that.
yeah,
So that's how I feel sort of with cameras. Get you a very nice camera that doesn't have to cost 100 grand. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah. So that's how I look at it.
A lot of gems there. So 28 years was shot on the iPhone, the Pro
Yeah.
Max.
From what I understand, it was shot on iPhone 15 Max. Yeah. And when I was in the theater watching it, I couldn't even
That's
tell. I was like, wow, there was like
the new joint. That's the
the
new
one
joint, right?
that just dropped. Yeah. I was watching certain scenes and I'm like, wow, I'm like, this looks like it was shot on a Red, or this looks like it was shot on a super crispy $100,000 like camera. And they literally had like 20 different iPhones rigged up in different areas and just shot on
Yeah,
iPhones.
because you could get 20 Pro Max for the price of one Red.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. And the first time I heard that trick, it was in a Spike Lee film called Bamboozled,
Yeah,
where he wanted to save budget on the camera. The studio was trying to charge him an arm and a leg for the cameras. He's like, you know what? Screw you guys. It might sacrifice my quality a little bit, but it kind of fits my theme of the movie. I'm going to get 100 camcorders that might not have the best quality, but I'm going to place them all around everywhere and just chop it up like a real movie. And when you see it, the quality isn't the best, but it has a certain gritty kind of
Yeah.
feeling to it where you're like,
Yeah.
and same thing with 28 Days Later with Danny Boyle, where he shot on 420p cameras. And it's very visible, but it matches the movie. It matches
Yeah.
the feeling of it. So if you're going to shoot in a certain quality, like a Blair Witch Project or something, just make sure that it hits hard with the plot line of the story you're trying to tell, or just the feeling of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super dope.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize that. I know that like in on the phone, if you know how to get into it, and then in programs like CapCut, you could drop things into 4K, right?
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
fact that they're doing, because 28 Days is a it's a franchise at this
Right.
point. People are excited about 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years. I mean, boom, they've already got it built in. People are going to show up at the movie theater. People are going to rent it
Right.
when
Absolutely.
it drops,
Absolutely.
right? But the fact that they opted to go that route shows that decision makers at the highest levels, really, because that's just a major franchise in the horror genre, are making that executive decision of like, no, we're gonna use this hardware to do
Yeah.
this, and then you could notice.
Yeah. And the one rule, I mean, one of the rules I got too also is just use what you got. Use what you got. And if you want to level up, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you should be doing. Level up as small as you're like step by step. You know, like if you level up a giant, take a big step at a time, you might not learn some things. You might, so you learn each step and just use what you got. That's what I say to everybody coming up. And aspire, take that step each time. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. As we start to wrap, I want to make sure that we're highlighting the dope new project you just released, Crimson Fury, available on all digital streaming platforms. Um, Anything that you want to share with us, anything that we haven't covered yet that I want to make sure that we cover. You talked about upcoming projects, right? In 2025, it's going to be stacked. New Stu Bangers, The Bad and the Ugly Part 2 coming, Afrodeezeak 3 dropping maybe this year or next year.
Right.
Another At the Sideshow with 60 East part, like the next installment of that's coming. Um, anything that we haven't covered that I want to make sure that we get a chance to
No,
cover.
I got some new merch that I'm working on. We're gonna get some new templates and some new designs, and we even got some new added in, but we're gonna be launching pretty soon. I'm gonna keep all the fans and everybody following the page and in the loop when it comes to it. Might even have like a nice little mini launch party or something. And also, yeah, my movie review channel. Also for any cinema heads or anybody that just likes to listen to like stream of consciousness, kind of like that kind of vibe. It's literally just a guy in the room saying his thoughts on a movie he just saw. Old school, That's my channel, Fro Thizzle Reviews on YouTube. If you want to just check out what my thoughts on the latest film that just came
Yeah,
out, or
your
even
episodes are
yeah,
super high on that.
or even I do all types. Yeah, I do album reviews. I do old movies from the 30s, newer films, just all types. And yeah, I think that I'm on my fourth season. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years, mostly for fun, also as a hobby, but just really, it's a platform for me to nerd out, and
Yeah,
also for other nerds to come in and join the conversation. I'm like, yo, say whatever you want in the comment section, whatever your thoughts. It's just a really open discussion. I'm just trying to build a nice community of like homies that you just talk movies about.
yeah,
So yeah, but I'm always I try to drop every other 3 or 4 days a new review, and but yeah, that's what I do on my offside when I'm not focused on the music and the MCing and producing.
yeah. Um, Website, Bandcamp. What are the places people can go direct to Fro and support?
I have my link tree. It's in my bio and my Instagram right here, All Flows Official. My link tree has everything. It has my latest drop of Crimson Fury, the latest EP. It has the Stu Bangas stuff. It has the Thizzle Reviews channel. It has my main website, frothizzle.com. But I'm mainly pushing through the link tree because it's just a collection of everything that's going on. If anybody wants to keep updated, up to date.
That's dope. Afro, my brother, it's an honor to have you back on the Cristopolis show.
Cristopolis,
Um, yo, you're a tremendous talent, my bro.
thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Yo, you're one of my favorite people. I always love every time we get an interview in together, bro. He's just a really cool dude, bro. Really good guy, really good heart, and I love how you handle the other interviews as well. You just you interviewed my guy Prospect a couple
yeah,
days ago. That's
yeah,
my brother too. That's who I forgot to mention. My brother Prospect. That's another MC I'm really tight with that I work with that I'm producing a lot for, and also he's building up his career as an MC as well, and I'm just really proud of him.
yeah.
And it was really nice it was really dope to see you interview him as well. That was dope.
Thank you, brother. Now he's a dope talent, and you're out there helping a lot of people, man. So in addition to your career, you're really like sharing your skills, your talent, your knowledge. Um, man, in LA is a lot of gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like you're really, yeah,
yeah.
you're really like opening doors for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what that was always my goal in the beginning. I feel like if I reached a certain point where I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but I feel like I've put in a good amount of work where I'm like, dang, okay, I got a nice little career to show. I got a good amount of projects, and now I have the opportunity to really put some very talented artists on the map, or just help them get a nice shove out there for people to see or the people to check out. And a lot of these people I feel like just need that help, and
Yeah,
and I feel like they deserve it. They're either really great people or just extremely talented. So that's
yeah.
it, and those they need it.
That's
I feel
that's
like
dope.
there's so many people who aren't talented that get a major spotlight,
You're
and
not lying.
and then there's people that are extremely talented who just kind of get, S-worded on, and it sucks. It's like those people deserve, if not tenfold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's dope. Thank you, my brother. It's an honor to have you back on the show. Crimson Fury available on all streaming platforms. Support Afro. He's one of the dopest MCs out and producers and with the cuts. And soon, and we don't know when, but I know that it's going to happen because you make things happen. We're going to see the feature films. We're going to see the short films. We're going to see everything by Afro in the future.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to show the supporters, the people who've been on the Fro train, who've been rocking with me through the whole journey. I'm excited to show what I got in store. I'm really excited.
That's dope, my brother. It's an honor. We'll run it back again in the future.
You already know I'm here, brother. Anytime. Just say the
All
word.
right, my bro.
All right.
Salute.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Peace.